Hello everyone, this is my very first YouTube video and I wanted to show you some of the books that I would recommend for beginners or for people who have been studying the craft for a little while and they want something maybe that's just past the normal how to cast a circle and consecration of tools and everything else. So I wanted to share the books that I have. This first section is going to be for beginners, and I know you've seen this everywhere, but there's a good reason why everyone recommends it. And this is Wicca, a guide for the solitary practitioner by Cunningham. And this is a really good book. It's not that thick. I actually got it at a used bookstore for $5.99. That's what that little sticker on there is. But it's really good. It just kind of shows you how to start with Wicca, the basis of it, foundation of it. And the reason why I think a lot of people like Scott Cunningham is, one, he's a really good source for information, and he is very open to letting you make Wicca be what you want to make it. If you feel like something's right for you after you've practiced the craft for a while, then you can just do it that way. He's not super strict with what he teaches. And I actually wish that this was the very first book I ever bought. And unfortunately it wasn't, but once I got this book I just devoured it, and I still flip through it. I've been studying about 6 months now, almost. 4 to 6 maybe. But I still use this book all the time. Another book that you may have heard of is Buckland's Complete Book of Witchcraft. And it's really like a study book. There's different chapters. He advises you not to advance through any of the chapters before you finish the first one. And you really get an in-depth look at history and, some more advanced stuff in this book. I've only done a couple of lessons, unfortunately, but this is a really good book if you just want a really good comprehensive workbook to learn a good foundation. And this is also a great book for beginners. I would really recommend it. Another book that is very thick, and I know people are going to have some controversy over my choice, but it's Ravenwolf's Book of Shadows for the Solitary Witch. It's a really thick book, and I have all my little post-it notes in there. And the only, I'm not going to go into Ravenwolf, because I understand both sides of the argument, but the one thing I do have about this book that makes it kind of difficult is that it's not really in any order. So if you're looking to progress through different steps and everything, this book is more just a great reference. There's so much stuff in this, and you can really find a lot of different things, and if something prompts your interest, like runes or divination, and you read, a couple pages of it in here, then you can always go and find other books on it. This is just really, to me, a great book to just kind of find new ideas and to research further in them. So I would recommend this book. I do not have any of her other books, but that's okay. I'm pretty much, I flipped through her other books at the bookstore, but I feel like if I have this book, this is the main book I would want to have by her. This is a book that I haven't really seen reviewed a lot, but it's actually pretty good. It's Wicca, The Complete Craft by DJ Conway. And it's actually a pretty good book. It does progress and it does show different steps you can do, and I do reference this a lot, and it is a beginner book, I know that. But I do like it because it does kind of offer a little more than what you might find in Scott Cunningham books, but it's not as daunting to flip through as, say, Ravenwolf. So this is actually a pretty good book to flip through. This is a book I got, and I can appreciate it now more. Oh, sorry, my screen went out. This is The Craft by Dorothy Morrison, A Witch's Book of Shadows, and it includes rituals, spells, and Wiccan ethics. And this was actually the very first book I got on Wicca, and the thing I didn't know then that I do know now is that it would say you have to do this for this item, or for this, and, for your wand, this is how you're supposed, to prepare it before you ever use it. And I mean, I know most authors kind of go into, well, do what feels right for you. But this book, I like it now because now I can use ideas from it. But at first, I was kind of like, well, this is kind of hard because I don't have access to an ocean or a stream or anything really. So unless I drive way out, I can't really, you know, do what she's telling me to do. But it is still a pretty good book, and I have seen some good reviews on YouTube for it. This is a book by Timothy Roderick, and it's Wicca a Year and a Day, and it's basically, it goes through each day of the year, and you can start any time of the year, pretty much. And it just has basically different little lessons slash things to think about slash things you can do for the day. And it actually prepares you in advance for the tools you'll need and everything, like meditation, Yule, and at first I was kind of freaking out about, well, what day should I start this? Am I supposed to start on this day or this day in the year? And I didn't really want to wait, and I've done a few of the exercises, but it also says that you can do kind of mock exercises for like Yule or Mabon or whatever, and then you can always write down ideas for what you want to do when that Sabbath or that aspect comes around. So I really do appreciate this book. Now, for people that have been reading a little bit more, and have gotten over the, some of the very basics, what is Wicca, that we can read everything. This is a book by Cunningham, and I actually haven't really read it that much. I actually just found it tucked away in all my books. Kind of, there's a glare, I see. It's Earth, Air, Fire, and Water, More Techniques in Natural Magic. And Scott Cunningham's books are very good because they're always pretty small, but I mean, there's still a lot of information. They're just to the point. And there's different exercises to be rid of a negative condition and everything. And I was drawn to this book because I want to get more in touch with the earth and the elements, and also the other elements, but really with the earth. That is my element. So I feel like to enhance my practice, I really need to use this book to get in touch with the earth and really just kind of get back to the roots of, I'm learning that it's okay that I don't have a special tool or everything, that I can find it in nature. And back when paganism started out, they didn't have, shops they could go to buy stuff like we do today. They didn't have the internet. They just used what they had. So I really want to use this book to find different things in nature and use it and incorporate a lot more in practice. Another book by Scott Cunningham that I bought last night is Living Wicca, A Further Guide to the Solitary Practitioner, and it basically shows, it's short again, but that's good, daily prayers, how you can enhance your practice, hand fasting, deity concepts, everything. And one of the things that when I was Christian, that I really liked about their religion is prayer. And I really have been getting into using prayer in my practice. And this does have some prayers, and I found a bunch online. If you want me to send you a link or whatever, or I can maybe do a video sometime on it, that'd be great. But I really believe in the power of prayer, whatever your religion is. And so I feel, and I know some pagans cringe at the word prayer because they associate it with Christianity, and that's fine. But I do feel like incorporating that can only bring you closer. You may not want to call it prayer and call it mantras or meditations, but I mean, that's kind of what it is. You know, it's all encompassing, just connecting intimately with your deities, with the Lady and the Lord, with the God and the Goddess, and just opening up and thanking them. And I really want to use prayer before meals and in the mornings and toast the day and welcome the moon and everything. So this is why I've been waiting to get this book, and I'm so happy I have my hands on this book. This is the other book that I got last night, and I actually have seen a couple of good reviews on YouTube. Is Natural Witchery by Dugan. And it also kind of goes into connecting with the personal god and goddess and making a more intimate relationship. There is prayer in here. And at first, even though I've seen good reviews on this book, I was kind of like, I don't know, natural witchery. I'm not a natural witch. There's no witches in my family that I know of or anything else. But, I mean, when I read her definition, it just meant someone who is sincere and who can connect with all of the elements. And that is really what I liked. I want to be one of those people that can just find the spirit in anything in nature. And that's the reason why I got this book. Even though at first I was apprehensive about it, but I've read good reviews on Amazon on it, and a lot of these books before I buy it, I go on Amazon, I read the reviews, and I watch YouTube videos on other people's lists to see what they say about it, so I can just kind of get an idea before I buy the book. This book I actually got, and it's not really a witchy, well it is, but it's not like a spell book or anything. This is Out of the Broom Closet by Murphey Hiscock. It's in the New Age section of your bookstore and everything. And this is kind of like a chicken soup almost for pagans. It talks about people who are in the broom closet, out of the broom closet, their experiences, what it's like. They could have been practicing pagan, very active in the pagan community for years, but they are completely in the broom closet at home. And I really did like this. It made me feel like I wasn't alone because no one in my personal life, except for my boyfriend, knows that I'm pagan. So that's why I'm a bit apprehensive about showing my face on YouTube. No offense, I really wish I could. But I did like this book. So another couple books. Solitary Wicca for Life, and this is a pretty good book. It's for a little more advanced studies. Shows how if you choose to be solitary, how you can enhance your practice once you get down all the basics. And this is by Arin, Murphey, Hiscock, which I guess is the person that did the Out of the Broom Closet book, where he edited it. But this is a pretty good book for, I feel like I'm going to definitely use a lot more. I mean, I've skimmed through this several times, but I'm definitely going to incorporate a lot of these practices, whether I decide to join a coven or I decide to stay solitary in my own personal daily practice. This is a good book. Another book for solitary that I actually haven't read really is Wicca for One by Raymond Buckland. He wrote the complete book of Witchcraft. And this is a path of solitary witchcraft. And it basically, talks about Sabbath, tools. So I think that, people starting out could benefit from this, and people who have been practicing for a while can also benefit from this. It is a little more basic, but I know that when you're new, it's hard to figure out, am I doing this right or what? And I do kind of like some solitary books because some of the other books, you have to have several people and a high priestess and everything to do some of the rituals and stuff. And I feel like if I try to adapt it to myself and my own